Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our 2014 NFL team preview for the Cleveland Browns. We're going to take a look at their offense, their defense, as well as their special teams. So let's start on the offensive side of the football with the quarterback position.
The Browns, I believe, have found their guy in Johnny Manziel as well as Brian Hoyer. Both quarterbacks are what you would call gamers and display plenty of leadership traits on the field. However, Johnny Manziel is a threat, and threats dictate what defenses do and how they plan to attack you. Because of Manziel's elite running ability, he'll rarely see a lot of man coverage. He won't see a lot of blitzes, which then puts the onus on him to just sit back there and read coverage. And when you spread the field, like they did at Texas A&M, it makes it easier to do so. This is why I believe he should start, and it'll be interesting to see how new offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan builds an offense around his skills. The Browns, in my opinion, are fine at quarterback with both Manziel and Hoyer. I like what the Browns have in the backfield. In free agency, they brought in Ben Tate from the Houston Texans, who's excellent in the zone blocking scheme that shows good burst. Both Dion Lewis, who I had highly rated coming out of Pitt, and Edwin Baker are solid options that also warrant carries. And two rookies, third-round pick Terrence West out of Towson and undrafted rookie free agent Isaiah Crowell out of Alabama State, could be the most talented out of the quintet. The point is that the Browns were the 28th rated rushing attack, and that has to improve. The good thing is that they have a wealth of talent at their disposal. Toss in a mobile quarterback in Johnny Manziel, and at 86 yards a game that they average will instantly jump up to about 120. Under the tutelage of running back coach Wilbert Montgomery, the Browns will be able to hang their hats on the ground game in 2014. This is a big-time question mark for the Cleveland Browns. A young quarterback is only as good as his receiving options, and while Josh Gordon is supremely talented, he's unreliable. Gordon is going to miss a significant amount of time this year due to suspension, and we don't know what that number is right now. And now the Browns have to count on free agent signees Andrew Hawkins from the Cincinnati Bengals, Miles Austin from the Dallas Cowboys, and Nate Burleson from the Detroit Lions. All three are solid vets, but Austin and Burleson are always battling nagging injuries, which makes them unreliable as well. And Hawkins would be ideal as a number two with a clear number one to take coverage away from him, and right now they don't have that. The hope is that guys like Travis Benjamin, who's returning from an injury, and one of the three undrafted rookie free agents, Chandler Jones out of San Jose State, Willie Snead from Ball State, and Taylor Gabriel out of Abilene Christian can step up and take the reins. That's a lot of ifs and hopes entering the season. The tight end position is clear and much more defined. Jordan Cameron was second on the team in receiving last year with 80 receptions for 917 yards and 7 touchdowns. He'll be Manziel's security blanket and red zone threat. In free agency, they brought in Jim Dre, who's a solid number two option with good hands. He was an underrated signing this offseason. I think his best football is ahead of him. The same can be said about Marquise Gray, who's an H-back type guy, former quarterback with unique skill sets. Look for more double and sometimes triple tight end sets this year from the Browns. This is by far the strongest unit on the offensive side of the ball. The Browns have two perennial All-Pros in left tackle Joe Thomas and center Alex Mack. Both are arguably the best at their position. Third-year player Mitchell Schwartz will hold down the right tackle spot, having played well the last 2 seasons. At guard is John Greco, who is a good pass protector and can play on either side of Mack, and rookie second-round pick Joe Bitonio out of Nevada, who played tackle in college but will play inside for the Browns. He quite honestly can't play anywhere up front. They wanted to bolster the depth, which is why they brought in Paul McQuiston from the Seattle Seahawks to help out on the inside. And I'm a big fan of Garrett Gilkey, Chris Falk, and Reed Fragel, 3 young players with guard tackle flexibility. The Browns also have very good quality on their defensive line. Atiba Rubin and Phil Taylor have been consistent performers up front. Desmond Bryant returns after missing the last 4 games with injury, and the health of these 3 last year showed its worth versus the run, holding opponents to a 3.9 yards per carry rushing average. Very good athleticism backing these guys up with Billy Wynn and Amonte Bryant. Look for both guys to see more playing time this year in that 3-4 defense. Both John Hughes and Isamale Kitchen excel versus the run and can flip-flop between the nose, the shade, or even the 5 technique if need be. In my opinion, this is the unit on the defensive side of the ball that must raise their level of play in 2014. They did a solid job last year, but must become impactful to make a difference. Good talent is in place for new head coach Mike Pettin with outside linebacker Jabal Sheard, Barcavius Mingo, and Paul Kruger. The three combined for 15 sacks and 74 tackles. They need that sack number to rise significantly this year. Mingo has the highest potential because of the athleticism. Sheard has been the most consistent, and Kruger, who the Browns paid big money to last year in free agency, has to make the biggest jump out of the three. On the inside, Craig Robertson is solid versus the run, but is inconsistent versus the pass. He'll have to hold off rookie third-round pick Christian Kirksey out of Iowa, who the coaches feel can excel at both. Carlos Dansby was brought in because of his playmaking skills on both ends of defense. He'll be replacing DeQuell Jackson. Tank Carter has excelled on special teams and is still trying to make his mark in the regular defense. Again, solid overall talent right here, both inside and out, but definitely the weaker part of that defense that has to get better. The Browns have the best secondary in the division, and they got even better in the offseason. Cornerback Joe Hayden is one of the best cornerbacks in the game. Hayden has excellent man-to-man skills and plays with great technique that is always putting him around the football. The Browns wanted to get someone to match his level of play on the opposite side, which is why in the first round they went after Justin Gilbert from Oklahoma State, who is my #1 rated cornerback in the draft. While he's not as technically sound as Hayden, he has much better ball skills, as evident by his 12 career interceptions, with 2 going back for touchdowns. He'll have an impact this season as a rookie. That move slides Buster Screen down inside where he can excel in space, and second-year player Leon McFadden, who had his ups and downs as a rookie, can get the opportunity to play the 4th cornerback spot while making a mark on special teams. One player that could push Screen for that 3rd cornerback spot is 4th-round pick Pierre Desir out of Division II Lindenwood. A tall corner with press skills, Desir's game is a lot like the Bears' Charles Tillman. He's another ball-hawking defensive back who had 25 career interceptions. At safety, the Browns have a very good young free safety in Tashawn Gibson, who can play the alley very well versus the run as well as a deep pass. They also bring in Dante Whitner to play strong safety, replacing TJ Ward, who left via free agency. Gibson and Whitner make a formidable duo, and I like what they have in safety Jordan Poirier as well. He's a combo safety with very good matchup skills, giving defensive coordinator Jim O'Neil all sorts of creative options on the back end. The return game shouldn't be a problem for the Browns this year, as there are a wealth of options available, one being first-round pick Justin Gilbert, who averaged 26 yards a kickoff return with 6 touchdowns. They also get back Travis Benjamin from injury, who excelled at both last year, bringing a punt back for a touchdown. And I also keep an eye on undrafted rookie free agent Taylor Gabriel out of Abilene Christian, who has great agility with superb acceleration and speed. Billy Cundiff was solid at kicker, connecting on 80% of his field goal attempts. Punter is where there's a slight question mark with punter Spencer Lanning, who has to find a way to get more distance out of his kicks, at least better hang time. He's good with directional punting, but 37 yards a punt isn't going to cut it this season. The reason for optimism for the Browns: have a new, exciting, dynamic quarterback in Johnny Manziel behind a very good offensive line and good stable of running backs, along with a very good defense. So there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic if you're a Browns fan entering the season. And on the flip side, the cause for concern would be the receiving core. Josh Gordon's absence is going to be huge for that offense and could derail any type of success they want to have offensively on a consistent basis. I think whether it's one game, 8 games, or the entire season, him not being out there takes away a big part of their offensive firepower. The road to the Super Bowl for the Browns goes as follows. Number 1, that receiving core playing solid, consistent football each and every week. That has the chance to elevate the level of play of a rookie quarterback, which brings me to my second point. Johnny Manziel has to get better each and every game. He can't hit that rookie wall while the Browns are in the thick of the playoff hunt. He has to get all those kinks out by the end of the preseason into game 1, because he has to get better each and every week for this team to move forward. And the defense has to be able to get pressure on the quarterback and create turnovers, 2 things that they struggled with last year. If they can do those 2 things defensively, the Browns can find themselves making some noise, getting into the playoffs, and eventually trying to get themselves to Glendale, Arizona. I have the Browns finishing 4th in the AFC North. This is a very good football team despite their record last year, and they have some great pieces in place. Very good defense, sound running game behind a very good offensive line, and a young, dynamic, playmaking quarterback in Johnny Manziel. The problem is the receiving core. I think that right there, like I mentioned before, could derail any type of offensive consistency, and you have to wonder about the linebacking core as well, being able to create and generate turnovers for that offense to get the ball back. But overall, I think the Browns are a year away, very talented football team. I think they'll hover around 7 to 8 wins this year and definitely make some noise in 2015 as they add more consistent, stable pieces at wide receiver. And don't forget to order your copy of Football Game Plan's latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths, an excellent book that you can find on our website at footballgameplan.com/books, available in both PDF as well as paperback form. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Brown Fan Forums for always showing Football Game Plan support.